Hey friends, family, people, humans. Just wanted to post a video for everybody that might be on YouTube right now that's looking for answers, looking for understandings to why, what they're going through right now. And I just wanted to kind of express my story because, one, by expressing it on YouTube, I was able to get some resources from other people and eventually look into those and eventually help myself through those resources. So, anytime there's an opportunity to post a video that I think can be in some way helpful, that I'll do it. And so this is about basically psychosomatic illnesses and things that are, I want to say, I suppose, psychological manifestations of stress to the body. And now that doesn't necessarily just mean a physical like pain or bowel like organ dysfunction and stuff like that. It can also mean anxiety and depression. Again, things that are ignoring the deep-rooted problem. Quite a few years ago now, I had diarrhea for about 2 years straight. Kind of just wrote it off. I was just so busy. I had a business and I was so busy in it, and I was, working my butt off and trying to manage a relationship, and at the during that time, I was like, okay, I got to go to the doctors. Went to the doctors. Eventually, got a colonoscopy through both ends, and they found nothing at all. And the girl brought me into her office. She's like, Eric, there's nothing wrong with you. She's like, are you stressed? And I'm like, I kind of like remember it. Like, I just kind of smirked and I was like, yeah. And during this time, I was looking at selling my business and leaving. And she says, well, that's what's causing this. And at first, of course, not really thinking much of it, but making sense. I remember reading lightly a book called Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers, and it was how the underratedness of stress and how it attributes to illness in the body. So after that, although I didn't really realize this fully, I continued having problems with my gut. Actually, to be honest with you, I kind of didn't write off her answer, but I went to the doctors and started getting blood work done and started trying to look into it a little bit deeper. And I did some stool testing and some blood testing, and the doctor said that I had celiac. So he's like, cut all the gluten out, everything like that. And when he said this, I was just like, man, I just really had a hard time with that. But I couldn't deny what I was feeling, what I was experiencing. So now I kind of had two answers as to why. One was a physical manifestation that was just due to some sort of nature, and then another one was, just simply stress. And again, looking back, I didn't really. Well, I'm speaking from what I see now rather than what I saw then. And so I never really got to the bottom of that. I started cutting certain foods out, and it didn't really help. And I just kind of, just got frustrated. But I was sold the business, which was intense in itself. And again, went through extreme bouts of actually suicidal tendencies and everything like that. Eventually just left everything. And then I've been traveling the world for 4 years in search of answers. What answers? I'm not sure. Just ones beyond my, I suppose, narcissistic self, my self-inflated sense of my world, mainly due to just the drama that was in my life. And when you're in pain, or when you're so about yourself, I mean, you have a hard time thinking about other things. Or your world just seems to matter more or something. And this is kind of what I was going through. And now we're looking at, about a year later, about a year ago today, ish. I started to get really physically sick. Meaning I started to get really low energy and extreme body pains, like really, really bad, and aches, and like couldn't sleep. And it just it was crazy. And actually what ended up happening is that I don't know if I said this already, but my bowels, after I got really sick in Colombia, and when I was coming home, my bowels got better, and then immediately after that, my body started to get physically in pain, and everything started to drop. Appetite, I could barely hold too much food in, and just super depressed. Being a physical person was extremely hard for me. I started getting pain, like again, pain everywhere, numbness, tingling. You know, I had a few incidents where it just left me in like shambles mentally. Physically hurting myself, maybe not involuntarily, but in some cases it just ruined me. Um, and anyways, so come earlier this year, February, I got diagnosed with fibromyalgia after just, oh my goodness, so many different doctors and just meetings and appointments, and trying to figure out what was going on. And eventually the guy said, you have fibromyalgia, not much you can do about it, just work hard, and pretend like nothing's really the matter. And at first that was kind of hard to hear, and I was just kind of, in some way I was kind of relieved, because I was like, all right, this guy's saying, don't worry about it. But when he told me I had fibromyalgia, just like people told me I had depression, because I was actually going for mental help at that time too, as well, because I was trying to understand. I mean, I was so depressed. I mean, my life is just, ugh. And so I got diagnosed with reoccurrent major reoccurrent depression, something like this, and obviously offering medical support, which I never took. Even before that, when I was selling my business, I was diagnosed with borderline hypomaniac, which was basically just the concept of that I had, like, I was going through a really crazy time, and I had this mania period, where it was like mania, but it was already on top of insane energy, and that led me to hurt myself and take overdose on, or trying to overdose on pills, and eventually freaking myself out, and whatnot. But I've never taken any sort of prescribed medicine from the Western world, and I guess I was super against it, and I definitely am not against it now. I definitely am more open to it. I still haven't went down that route yet. I'm not sure I will at this moment. We'll see. I see it as a tool. I don't see it as something that you go on to change your brain chemistry forever. It's just simply not the way humans, in my opinion, are built. We're not built to have to take something forever. Maybe just to help us, through a certain period, if we're being triggered and we're not able to manage the situation. But anyhow, I feel like I'm gonna need to make this a much more broken down video, but we'll start here. Anyways, so during that time, I started posting videos on YouTube, and some people chimed in saying, hey, have you ever heard this book, and the work of these people? And I was doing some reading with Gabor Mate, When the Body Says No, and just trying to get some ideas as to the psychological aspect of physical illness. And it really got me intrigued, because I really felt like my brain was, my mind was the thing that was causing me so much damage physically. Of course I beat my body up and everything like that, but geez, like, it was just intense. And so I got reading, and there was one book that completely really helped change for me, and that was The Divided Mind by Dr. John Sarno. And he really just hit the nail on the head with a few of the things in my life, and it really connected dots between what Gabor Mate was saying, and a few others that really resonated with me. I mean, it wasn't that other people weren't seeing it; it was just the way it was that it was said, and I interpreted it. And at that point, all it was knowledge. Power is knowledge. I mean, I didn't apply anything other than the fact that it made sense when Dr. John Sarno was saying this, and immediately my pain got relieved, just out of that. So that was quite interesting, and ever since then, this is about 8 months ago, sorry. I've had way less pain and way more able to understand it. There's definitely times where I get lost in it, and then when the pain gets pretty high, it reminds me of it, and of course, it settles down because I basically see it, which helps. So yeah, here I am still trying to manage myself, still trying to get physical exercise, still trying to, just move through life in a way that feels good for me, and that's something I'm working on at the moment. And it's never too easy, but just doing my best as a human being, which we all are on some level, right? And yeah, I just wanted to kind of open up and express that, hey, like after about 6 months after reading that book, I'm still feeling pretty good. I'm just reading another one called The Great Deception, and I think it's about the exact same stuff, and just really enjoying that. Yeah, I'm trying to get my life together as well, and I'm definitely trying to. There's mind neuroses that I have that cause a lot of my pain, a lot of rigidness, but something again we all as human beings seem to be working on individually through our own karmic tendencies, as it's said, and yeah, it's not easy, and I'm going through a hard time right now, and my hands are starting to cramp. My joints are starting to cramp more now, so I'm feeling it when I'm lying down more, which is originally what made me have insomnia, was the fact that I kept waking up because my joints were so ached. I also haven't maybe been eating the cleanest, so I could probably clean up on that to help relieve any sort of additional trauma. And again, when you're emotionally eating, there's again that emotional effect of things as well, right? So I have to be real and be honest with myself, or else I just keep going down the wrong path. And of course it serves us for a while, but I know that this can be a pain-free life for the most part, especially much more than the pain that I feel now. And so, and I do believe that others as well. I believe that a lot of us are in pain, but we're in pain because of the way we perceive things, the way that our childhood was, the way that we're subconsciously programmed, that we have no idea that these tendencies that we have as human beings, being perfect, not wanting to, lose relationships, treating things, in just the sake of like losing something that is you feel like was everything to you, or you wanted it to be everything. And just kind of life as for humans, right? We're always learning. Our life is to learn and go through trials and tribulations, and that's what we're all here for. So hey, if you want to reach out, I'm open to chatting if something of this resonates with you. It's challenging, man. It's challenging, and I know talking with people that are kind of going through similar stuff can maybe help just kind of be an ear, and perhaps just a calming, compassionate voice to the situations that we're all going through. And ultimately, at the end of the day, it is community. It is about us and helping each other, helping those that we feel that we can help, and kind of the phases and chapters that we're moving through in our lives. But ultimately it's up to us, and that can be challenging, man. That can be really challenging, but don't forget to reach out and in need if there ever is. Something I struggle to do at times, but I do in certain ways, even just like right now is kind of a reaching out, but in a loving, compassionate way. And of course looking to connect with people that are going through this and don't want to be a victim anymore, and really feel that they're that it's the mind and the way that they perceive things, and how we react due to the nature of our personality that we really potentially have no idea about. Again, until I read Sarno's book, I didn't know. So it made it just it clicked, light bulb clicked, and I'm really grateful for that. So if this video can help anybody move in a direction of healing, then perfect. That would be amazing. Anyways, peace, mad love, and yeah, keep trucking, baby.